This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak Magus, and so GDC, Sony had their press conference, and the big thing that we were all waiting for them to talk about was PlayStation VR. They had made, mention that they were going to make a big announcement concerning the platform, and we got that announcement. We got the announcement that we pretty much expected. First, they announced the price, which I figured was going to be at that pricing point, so it was no surprise there for me. Sony seems to want to make sure that they come in at the lowest possible price point, and they did it again with PlayStation VR. Now, we all know the Oculus Rift is going to be $600 and the HTC Vive is $800. Sony PlayStation VR is going to be $400. Now, as far as launch day is concerned, they didn't give us a day. They gave us a window. They said it's going to come out in October. So I'm assuming E3 will actually get a lockdown date. Makes me wonder, what's the where are they in the timetable as far as the hardware is concerned? Is this because they're trying to make sure that they produce enough for that date, or is this their way of trying to gauge pre-orders before they announce it? Who knows? But we shall see what day in October is coming out. It's actually not a bad time to drop a new platform either, since it's close to the holidays, so it'll set up any potential for bundles, things like that. Now, PlayStation VR headset is basically what you get with the headset out the box. They showed everything that comes with it. You get, apparently, the headphones that come with it are 3D stereoscopic headphones. You get all the cables that you need to be able to charge, to plug it into your PlayStation. It looks like one of the cables requires 2 USB ports, maybe. I'm not sure. I was always wondering, is this going to do like the others and require you to utilize all of your USB ports? But I feel like there's a lot of cables that comes with it. Sony also said that there'll be 50 games available this year for PlayStation VR, so it's a pretty solid launch right there for a new platform. Now, if these 50 games are actually going to be worth mentioning, worth caring about, who knows? For all we know, they could just be 50 short experiences. You will be able to download PlayStation Playroom in VR for free, of course, if you get the PlayStation VR headset. So just go onto your PSN and download that. Everybody who has the camera knows what Playroom is. Excuse me. They know what Playroom is. It's that little mini game program that you get for the PlayStation camera. Now, speaking of the PlayStation camera, that won't be coming with the PlayStation VR headset. And it is kind of strange because in order to use PlayStation VR, the camera is required. So while the price of the headset is $400, the price of being able to run VR on your PlayStation 4 is actually about $450, $460 plus tax, or whatever the MSRP is where you're at. Like in Europe, in other countries, it's going to be $549 retail. Not sure how much the PlayStation camera costs. So you will be spending some extra money, and it doesn't come with Move controllers. They're optional, but they will have to be purchased separate too. So if you want to use the Move controllers for different motion things, you're gonna have to buy those. I think they're down to $20 right now, but still, that's an extra cost. You're gonna probably end up investing close to $500 if you want to get everything that could be a part of the experience right now, and that's not even counting any games that you purchase. Now, that still comes under the other headsets, but I thought that was interesting that they didn't decide to add the camera to the mix, seeing that it's a requirement. That would have probably made the $400 price even more appealing, because you would have got what you need. Maybe Sony's thinking, well, the camera sold so well, most people have it already, so therefore there's no real reason to include it. Who knows? Maybe they're gonna have a camera option bundle that'll be under the cost of what it would be to buy these items separate. Who knows? But yeah, I thought that was interesting they didn't add the camera. So how do I feel now that I know the exact price? Like, is this something that I'm going to jump out there and get? Probably not. Well, $400 to me is probably the more reasonable price for something like this, because let's be honest, these things aren't cheap to develop. They are high-end technology, but at the same time, they're developing technology. We're just getting into, reintroducing this, I should say, because VR has been around for a while. As I've stated plenty of times before, I've seen the attempts of making VR a thing, in the past, and it wasn't taken as serious. I feel like this time we're getting a more serious push from companies, but at the same time, it's really, it's too costly for where we're at, because we're in the development stage. We're not in a necessarily we don't have a good idea of where they're going with all their software, the platform, and things like that. They could say what they want, but execution is going to be key, and we need to see these headsets out in the wild. I think that's something I mentioned to my podcast members. Is like, for me, I need to engage. Like, having this Samsung Gear VR is great because I can sit here and play around with the free stuff that they gave me and kind of gauge and get an idea of what to expect on a much smaller scale. But I would like to possibly get my hands on the Oculus Rift or Vive and see exactly where they're going with the technology, how it's going to be implemented as far as gaming is concerned. It's going to have to prove itself. So just to while there's always going to be enthusiasts, you have the people who bought 15,000 Vives, the people who sold out the Oculus Rift, which I'm not sure what the numbers are, but I'm sure they're in the same realm as a Vive. And it's like, that's not a whole lot of people that's dedicated to it, but there are people who are very, very interested in having their hands on it, on that hardware. But not a lot of people are going to take that flyer and be like, you know what, this looks cool, I'm going to spend that money. They're going to want to do like me, wait and see, or at least get hands-on experience before they make a decision. Because this first wave of hardware, this is the development stage. This is we're in the guinea pig stage, as I like to call it, for a platform. It's just like with the console launch. The first wave is not perfected. Not everything that you feel like you should have or that you need to make it the best experience is always there. It's an ongoing process. It takes a little while in the process before it gets to that point. And I believe with this being a new platform to a lot of people, it's going to take a little bit more than what it takes with consoles. But we shall see. I do think it's going to be successful, especially since, again, it's the cheaper of all of them. They're not direct competition to Sony and their platform, but when you look at VR technology and you look at the fact that this is a cheaper price, a lot of people out there have PS4s. And even if you don't, a PS4 is kind of more affordable than the type of PC that it would take to run the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift. You may get a lot of people to push and make that investment. It's going to be at least $1,200 to $1,800, if $1,200 to $1,500. I mean, to invest in the Oculus or the Vive. It's $800 if you couple the fact for the PlayStation, the camera, and the headset. So there's that factor. The pricing factor is going to weigh in heavily, even if the PlayStation VR probably isn't going to be close to the quality of Oculus Rift or Vive. But we'll see. Anyway, as always, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Blak Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.